It's almost Halloween, so that obviously means that it's the best time of year to get your spooky pictures taken. However, I know that not everyone knows how to start taking pictures or what to look for when doing a spooky photo shoot, so in today's video I'm sharing my best tips, tricks and advice with you. Hello spooky bats and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, hi and welcome. My name is Orphea and I'm a god YouTuber from Belgium. Besides being a YouTuber, I'm also a professional photographer here in Belgium and I have my own photography business. And now that October has started, of course, I am doing a bunch of Halloween photo shoots. In today's video, I want to share a few tips and tricks that I've learned over the past few years while doing photo shoots and how you can get your ultimate Halloween spooky pictures taken. You can do this yourself with a friend or someone helping you out. I would not recommend doing this fully by yourself, but if you have no other options, make sure that you have a good remote control to take your pictures with. So now let's get started. First of all, before you actually do the photo shoot, I think it's super important to get a mood board with all of the elements that you want into your shoot. You can do this on Pinterest. It is what I love to use for this. So I find inspiration pictures of the environment where I want to shoot, maybe also pictures with the outfits that I like, and I combine them all onto one mood board, so I have everything together, so that the moment that I look for a model to do these shoots with, I already know what I want to ask them, I already know what I want them to wear, etc. It also helps in looking for the appropriate accessories and props that you might want to use in your shoot. I personally think there is no such thing as too many prop options, because I always think of more things that I could have used afterwards. For example, I'm going to use two of the recent shoots that I did here. The first one was one of the coffin shoots that I did in my studio. We started out with just the model, the coffin, and a plain black backdrop. Don't get me wrong, these pictures look cool, but it feels empty. So we added a bouquet of flowers, we added a glass of wine, and then I started adding pumpkins, fake cobwebs, so fake spider webs that you could use. And that is when the pictures start looking the best, if you add a few accessories. So for this particular studio shoot with the coffin, I actually prefer the pictures where we have the fake cobwebs, the spider webs, and even a glass of wine included into the shots. I think those look the best. Of course, I am aware that not everyone can take pictures in a home studio, not everyone has one, so it's also good to consider where you want to take your pictures. Do you want to go to a special location? Do you want to rent a location? Do you want to go into a park? Do you want to go somewhere in the city? It really depends on what you want for the vibe of those pictures, so really think about it. And if you want to do outdoor shoots, and for example, like I did in one of my shoots, you want to use smoke, make sure you are aware of the rules and regulations about using smoke in those locations. For example, there is a danger of fire if it's a very dry period of year. There is also the risk that people will call the fire brigade to come and put out the fire because they see smoke. There's also the chance that people just panic because they're not used to having smoke in certain areas. So be careful if you want to use things like smoke, of where you are using it and of the safety of using the smoke. You can of course use little smoke machines as well. I personally don't have one yet. I use actual smoke flares for this effect. They only burn for 1 minute, and if I go to a park to actually do the shoots there, I have sent a message asking if it is okay to use smoke. I've also looked that it has rained in the past 2 days. I always take a bucket of water with me to when they are done burning, they still are hot, so I put them in a bucket of water so they cool down. I also never leave anything on the spots where I use a smoke flare, so I always take all of the debris with me if there is any. So yeah, I think it's very important that if you go somewhere to do a photo shoot, that you leave nothing but footsteps behind. So don't break anything, don't leave any debris behind. I think that's super important. And also in graveyards, if you want to do a shoot in graveyards, make sure you have permission. Make sure that you are allowed to do what you want to do there. Don't just go climbing onto graves and stuff, because it's just not okay. And also a few extra tips that I want to give for shooting with smoke is that it is fire, it involves fire, so be careful. I would always recommend to have an assistant. So if I'm the photographer, I have a model, I will have a third person actually handling the smoke. So they will be moving around the smoke flare so that when the wind turns, because that happens quite often here, the person handling the smoke can actually turn with it. So we don't have the smoke just blowing away in the other direction. Also know that fire is dangerous. Just treat it carefully and make sure that you have some water with you so that if something happens, you can put it out and just put it away. Something that I also do if I have a lot of things that I need to move to a certain spot for my shoots. For example, now the forest shoots that I did, it is a 5-minute walk from where I can park my car to where I actually do the shoot. So I take a wheelbarrow to actually carry all the stuff from my car to the shoot location. For example, with the pumpkins, I have 13 pumpkins, some bigger, some smaller. I cannot move them all at once. They are too heavy and too bulky. So I actually do the trip 2 times back and forth to my car to actually put all the pumpkins on the spot, and then afterwards I leave my extra shoot props in the wheelbarrow while we're actually taking the picture, so it's very practical. And I know some of you will be curious to how do I shoot? What are the settings of your camera? So I'm gonna get technical. If you don't like technical, then skip to the next part. Because I do use the Canon R6. I recently changed from using Nikon to using Canon because I like the colors more. So I currently shoot with a Canon R6 and a 35 1.4mm lens. Currently, for the shoot that I'm showing you on screen right now, I use the following settings. I always shoot at 250 FPS. Especially with the movement of the model and of the smoke, I like to shoot at a higher FPS, so I always set it to 250. My FPS is my start value, is my fixed value. I also have set my white balance to a custom value, so it is always the same in editing. I do not touch this. Then we have the aperture, so the f value on my camera for this particular shoot, it was at 1.6. I go higher or lower depending on what type of pictures I want to take, but I always prefer having my model super crisp and sharp, and then everything before and after her being a little bit blurry, so that's why I shoot at 1.6. So the lower this number goes, so 1.2, 1.4, 1.6, 1.8, your model will be very sharp and the foreground and the background will be more blurry. If you shoot on a higher f value, everything will be nice and crisp, or as much as possible. So if you shoot at f4, everything will be more crisp. But this of course affects how dark or how bright your image will be. And then finally, I'm setting the ISO. For this shoot, we had an overcast day. We were shooting in a forest. We had no extra lights with us, so we were only shooting with natural light. So I put my ISO at 640, which is on the higher side for some people. I personally don't really mind it because you don't see it at all in the pictures because of the quality of the camera. So once you have taken your pictures, it is time to edit them, because most of the time I will get pretty good pictures straight out of camera, but I love to add some drama. Now, to add this drama, I actually use 2 applications to edit my pictures. The first one is Lightroom. You can also get the free Lightroom mobile version, which can do a lot of things, but not everything that I want to do. So what I start doing light corrections in Lightroom and have the basic edits done there. And then afterwards, I export my pictures to Photoshop, and then I actually finish the image. So I do all skin corrections. If there's anything in the environment that I want to edit out, if there's any special effects I want to add, I do all of that in Photoshop. So most of the pictures that you see from my photo shoots have been first treated in Lightroom and then exported to Photoshop for the finishing touches. So for example, whenever I take pictures in my studio isn't super large, so sometimes the black background isn't large enough to actually cover the entire space. So then afterwards in Photoshop, I will extend the background, which is not super difficult to do, but it does make a big difference in how your pictures look. I really hope this video helps you out when you're planning your own spooky shoots. I really recommend having a good mood board beforehand with a lot of poses that you can reference, and also how to style the environment that you're working in, especially in the beginning steps of your doing photography. This is super important that you have good references that you can work from, and then over time you will improve and learn what you like, etc. So I think it's super fun to do Halloween shoots. If you're from Belgium and you want to do a Halloween shoot, know that you can book me during the entire month of October at a discount rate. All of the information will be in the description box down below. If you want to see more of my photography work, you can visit my website, or where I post most frequently is my Instagram, where I also share behind the scenes of my photo shoots. If you enjoyed this video, give it a big thumbs up. Of course, don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I make videos every week and I would love to have you for every single one of them. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next week with a new video. Bye!